Welcome to Ex Machina. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Hey folks, thank you for joining us kind of for a surprise edition of Ex Machina. I won't keep you guys very long. It's Thanksgiving and I want to make sure you guys are spending plenty of time with your families. But I just wanted to pop on and say happy Thanksgiving. Robbie and Steve have to work today, unfortunately, so they're not going to get to spend Thanksgiving with their families because being first responders, they are out on the sharp end of the stick. Doc's with his family. I didn't want to bother him. He's had a whole lot of stuff going on, but I wanted to come back and pop on. I'm not going to be able to stay very long, but I wanted to come on and let you guys know I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. This year, I've got a lot to be thankful for. Yeah, 2023 has been a rough year for a lot of us, but I've also got a lot to be thankful for. Um, and you realize that laying in a hospital bed, it was pretty rough. When they first told me that I had congestive heart failure, I thought, well, that's it. I've got days, not weeks, not months. I thought that was the end. I didn't understand. I just heard congestive heart failure, and my heart kind of sank. Um, so the diagnosis turns out to be a lot better than I initially thought. It was pretty scary. It still is kind of scary. Here's the thing, though. There are three different types of congestive heart failure. One of them would have required immediate surgery. Thankfully, I didn't have that one. They would have, as soon as they diagnosed it, they would have wheeled me into surgery and cracked my chest open like a pinata to open the arteries. Um, then there are two other kinds. The other kind is the systolic and diastolic, where you have too much pressure on your heart where it's trying to push blood out and too much pressure where it's trying to pull in. Um, they think I had some sort of weird combo of the two. They're not 100% sure what was causing mine, but the angiogram, which was interesting enough, they ran I don't know if you can see it. There's a little spot right here on my arm where they went in with the angiogram. Um, they basically put a large gauge needle into that artery, and then they run a scope up through it, and it goes all the way up and then around to your heart. And they checked. Fortunately, I was out for all of that because I'm a big chicken. I wouldn't have wanted to have been awake for that anyway. But unfortunately, I slept through that. But my arteries were clear. There was no blockage, which has got them scratching their heads. But what the one thing that they did find out for certain is I was building up a lot of fluid around my lungs and my heart, and they've put me on medication for that. In fact, I went into the day I went into the hospital, I had weighed earlier that morning. I was 252, and when I got out of the hospital, I was 242. I got rid of a lot of liquid that was been building up in my chest. Um, I'm on the right direction. I'm on the mend. Taking When I take my meds in the morning, it looks like I've got a handful of Skittles. I mean, I've got a freaking pharmacy every time I take my meds, and I have to check my pulse ox, my blood pressure, and my weight every day. And I've got a tablet that's linked directly to my doctor's office where they can monitor everything, so they can see if that liquid weight starts building up because I guess they can tell the difference somehow. Um, Mrs. Moon says barbecue prime rib today. Ooh, oh, that sounds awesome. I'm doing a Cajun turkey. That's kind of become a tradition here. Cajun seasoning, slow roast a turkey, and the boys just love it. So we're going to be doing that. And again, I'm pretty dang thankful to be here to be doing Thanksgiving with the family. Um, yeah, it's miraculous. It really is. Because that night I went into the hospital, I thought that was about it. To give you guys the whole story, and I'm not trying to make this sound any lighter than it is, but I for the last 5 or 6 months, I'd noticed I was starting to develop a little respiratory issue. Wasn't all the time. And sometimes, like if I was out on a trail, I'd have to stop and catch my breath more often than I thought I should have. But I just kind of blamed that over on me, still trying to build up my wind after. after being down on my back for so long. So I thought I was just still trying to build back up. Maybe I'm just pushing myself too hard. But it concerned me enough that I brought it up to my doctor. And my doctor, I've known him since we were in junior high, so it's not like it's not like he doesn't listen to me. It's not one of those situations where, oh, just take this pill, you're fine. John and I go way back, so when I tell him I've got a problem, he knows I've got a problem because I don't go in there with and ask for pain meds for a broken hangnail. In fact, I always tell him all the time, nope, nope, don't want that, don't want that. But I went to John and I said, hey, I'm starting to have some issues breathing. He said, well, tell me about it. And, like I said, it wasn't all the time, maybe one day a week at the time when it first started. It was rare. He goes, "Let me listen to your lungs." So he did a blood test and listened to my lungs, and he said, "What? Your lungs sound clear." He says, "I'm wondering if it might just be allergies." So he had me start taking a daily allergy pill, and I would notice I'd get a lot of phlegm. So I started taking Mucinex too, and that helped. It helped for a while, and I was having the same issue when I was in Tennessee up in Gatlinburg. It just again, it wasn't that often. But about 2 weeks ago, it started getting really bad. I mean, I would get winded like going through the store. I'd have to stop and rest at Walmart, which was different. And I'm like, why is this getting worse? It's not getting better. But I had another follow up with the doctor, and he goes, "Well, it's that time of year. A lot of people's allergies are flaring up." He said, "I wonder if that's that, and that's not it." He says, "If it gets worse, it gets any worse." Because at the time I was still pretty ambulatory, and I felt fine. I felt okay, and it was kind of starting to affect my sleep. He said, "If it gets any worse, you call and set up an appointment." So this last Thursday, got so bad that I was out of breath sitting in a chair. I was like, and I think you guys saw on the show we did with Josh Nanokio the other night on last Wednesday. A few people commented that I looked really pale. Yeah, because it was getting pretty bad at that point. Um, so anyway, Thursday morning, I called to get an appointment to see my doctor, and they said that, well, the earliest we can get you in is on Monday. And I'm like, well, is that's the earliest? You're sure? Though, yeah, if we get an opening between now and then, we'll call you. But the earliest we can get you in on Monday. I'm like, okay. So I set the appointment, and again, at the time, I still just felt like this is bad allergies. I don't know what's going on. I'm allergic to something. Um, I didn't know what else to think it was. So Thursday evening rolls around, and Annette and I were watching TV, and I went to get out of the chair and got lightheaded and sat back down. And she goes, "We need to do something." She says, "This is not normal for you." I said, "Yeah, I can't get a breath." And it wasn't like I felt like weight on my chest or anything. I was able to pull a full breath, but the weird part was it felt like I wasn't getting any air. I mean, I could take a deep breath, but it was like there was no air in it. I would just be struggling for air even when I was breathing deep. Um, and that was really, really starting to concern me. And she says, "Why don't we go for urgent care and maybe they can give you a breathing treatment or something to get you through till Monday?" I'm like, "Okay, fine." And anybody knows me knows how much I hate going to the doctor. For me to agree to go to urgent care, that takes some doing. Plus, I'd texted Steve and Robbie and Doc in our group chat. And since Steve and Doc are both medical guys, and they're both like, "Get your ass to the hospital." So I'm like, "All right, fine." Almost passed out putting on my shoes. I mean, literally almost passed out putting on my tennis shoes. So Annette takes me down to the urgent care. We walk in. I tell them I'm having trouble breathing. They put a pulse ox on me at the desk, and my pulse ox, I don't know. They didn't say exactly what it was, but it was low. It was so low they immediately put me in a wheelchair, put oxygen on me, and rushed me down to the ER. They're like, "We can't treat this here. You are way too serious." Um, Time spent in the ER. Anybody that's ever been in a crowded ER knows nothing happens fast there. They did blood tests. They did the whole 9 yards, put an EKG on me. Um, and at first, it was almost like they weren't really taking it that serious. But with the oxygen on, I was breathing okay. I wasn't like in on dire straits. So I sat out there for a few hours on oxygen until the results of the tests started coming back, and then they're like, "Oh shit!" And they took me straight back, took me down to the trauma unit, and then they started pumping me full of this. I can't remember what it's called. Uh, I can't remember the name of the drug, but it's to try to drain that fluid. And the doctor comes in, and he was pretty serious. And he said, "Well," he says, "I've got some bad news for you. You're in congestive heart failure. You have a severely enlarged heart." And I'm like, "What?" I said, "Where does that come from?" He goes, We don't know. We don't know what caused it. Are you sure you've been having any chest pains or anything like that?" I said, "No, haven't had any chest pains. Only thing I've had was a little breathing distress building up to this, and it just started getting bad." He goes, "Well, this is bad, and we're admitting you, and we're gonna go get a hold of the cardiologist." So they take me upstairs. The next morning, they take me for a echocardiogram, and this is where it starts getting weird. The guy that did the echocardiogram, he's like, "Huh." And he's it's because it's like any of you ladies had to have an ultrasound for a baby. That's basically what it was. It's an ultrasound on the chest. They just run this machine over your chest and they scan your heart from multiple angles. And he's like, "Huh." I'm like, "What?" And he goes, he says, "Nothing." I'm like, "No, no, if you're going, huh, I want to know what the hell that is." He goes, "All right, well, I'm not a doctor." And he says, "But I've done about 1 billion of these things." He said, "The ER report says you have a severely enlarged heart." He said, "I'm not seeing that." He says, "This looks pretty normal to me." He said, "It might be a little enlarged, but I am not seeing what the doctor reported as a severely enlarged heart." So they sent the information over to the cardiologist, sent me back to my room, and the cardiologists start scratching their heads. They're like, "It's behaving like congestive heart failure with a severely enlarged heart, but his heart's fine." So they go ahead and schedule me for the angiogram, expecting to find some blockages or something. They said they were setting me down and giving me like the worst case scenario speech too. They're like, "We go in and we find blockages. We're just going to pull the angiogram out and take you to surgery because we're going to crack your chest and open all your arteries. We'll have to do a full bypass." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" And thinking this is going to suck. And they said, "Or we might find one or two blocked arteries, in which case we'll put the stents in at the time and you'll be home before Thanksgiving." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, that's a little better." And he said, he says, "Best case scenario is we end up just treating this with meds." He said, "We're still trying to figure out what's caused this, but we'll know more after the angiogram." So I go in for the angiogram and my arteries are clear, 100%, no blockage. They, they don't know what the hell's going on. They're like, "Why is this happening?" It's acting like congestive heart failure. I've got a diagnosis of congestive heart failure with none of the reasons I should have congestive heart failure. The only thing they could find is that weird fluid buildup. So they sent me home with a bunch of well, they changed my blood pressure meds for one. So those are different. Still taking the metformin because I'm still losing weight and watching my sugars. Uh, but then they gave me a diuretic to help try to keep the fluids out of my system, which, yeah, that does the job. I'm keeping a lot of fluids moving, I can tell you that. Um, but as for the root cause of this, we don't know. We still don't. I see a heart specialist on the 8th of December, and they're probably going to do another echocardiogram at that time. That's what they were kind of hinting at. That's what they were saying. And double check, but they don't know. They don't have a clue why this happened. Um, and it's really kind of freaked me out. Um, so that's where we're at, folks. I mean, I'm getting better. I'm still freaking wicked tired. Uh, but I'm a lot better off than I was. I can actually, well, Wednesday when I was on with Josh, you guys would, I let Robbie and Josh do most of the talking because I was struggling for breath, but I feel fine now. I mean, I feel like I feel normal. Um, but we still don't know what the hell caused that. I'm still taking freaking handful of meds twice a day. Um, and we're kind of taking it day by day as I monitor my pulse ox and my blood pressure and my weight every day. um, but we still don't know. We're not any closer to knowing what caused it than we were the day I went to the hospital. But I do want to say that I want to thank each and every one of you guys so much for all the people that reached out, all the thoughts and prayers, all the well wishes. It was overwhelming. I mean, it was a lot of people, way more than I ever expected. Uh, I got so many people reaching out to me, and so many people posting comments on my Facebook page, and yeah, it was just amazing. I'm so deeply humbled and grateful for each and every one of you, and that's one of the things I'm thankful for this year. I'm thankful for my family, and I'm thankful for you, my extended family. And I think honestly, um, it was y'all's prayers. I really do. Uh, I was a scared dude. Annette was crying a lot those first couple of days. And the first night in the hospital, of course, they had to leave at visiting time because since the Black Plague of the 21st century, they don't allow people to stay up there all night unless it's one of those, we're on death clock watch. So they had to leave. They left before 9, and I sat and stared out the window for hours. Um, did a lot of praying. Not gonna lie, did a little crying. Um, but you know, this was a this was a scary one, and again, still don't know what caused it, uh, but I know what fixed it, and it was all of you. It was the prayers and the love and the support of each and every one of you guys, and I'm beyond grateful for every one of you guys. Um, so I'm back, getting stronger. We won't have a show tonight, mainly because it's Thanksgiving, but also because I'm still kind of getting there. I still have to, like, we went to the store yesterday to get a few things, and I had to ride in one of those stupid electric carts that I hate so bad, but I had to do it. Um, but I'm getting better. I'm getting a little stronger every day. Um, Getting some decent rest now. I guess that was affecting me pretty badly on my sleeping at night, and I didn't know it. It's been a long time since I had a really good night's sleep, and I've had pretty good night's sleep the last couple of nights, which I've really needed. Um, and we're coming back. We'll be back stronger and better than ever. And that's because of y'all. That's through the grace of God and through all y'all's prayers and for all the kind wishes and the great words and the amazing people that have stood behind us. And we thank each and every one of you guys. I am so happy and so thrilled to have you guys with us. Again, one of the biggest things I'm thankful for this year is, well, one, my health, my family, and my extended family, which is you. You guys have been amazing. Um, so can't say for sure that we're going to have a show on Saturday yet. I would say most likely we will. Uh, but if I'm still pretty wore out on Friday, I'll probably won't do it. But I'll announce that. I'll let everybody know. But I would say odds are pretty good we'll have a show on Saturday if I keep feeling the way I've been feeling. And then we'll just be back to business as usual. Get my butt back to writing, get some more stories out, get some more books out, and we'll kind of go from there. Uh, so uh, I've not been able to keep up with the chat because it's just me, and I've got to talk the whole time. Usually, I can let Robbie talk for a minute, and I can go over and look at questions. So if I missed your questions, I apologize. Um, Judy Smith says, "Don't push it." I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. And if I even think about it, Annette's right there to tell me, "Hey, Mister, you better sit your butt down and calm down." So Annette's keeping me on a pretty short leash, which is to be expected. She was pretty worried too. I mean, that night they first said I had congestive heart failure, I could see it on her face that I it was like one of those moments when I was an officer and she got the call to come to the hospital because I'd been hurt. That happened a couple of times in my career. One of them pretty dicey. Um, but we come through it, and hopefully I'll be around another 30, 40 years, maybe even longer. Uh, I keep losing weight, keep getting healthier, and God knows, maybe I'll write another 50, 60 books. Um, let's see if I missed any questions. If I did, I'm sorry. Uh, Robbie says Clemson, Carolina on Saturday. You need to take an extra day pause. Well, we'll see, buddy. We'll see, brother. We'll see how everybody's doing. Griff says, "Da, you take care of yourself. You're more important than the show. Without you, there's no show. Get rest, get better, and get stronger." I'm working on it, man. I have not been pushing very hard since I got out of the hospital. Um, but I am starting to get you know, getting my endurance back, and I'm pretty happy about that. So, hopefully this week or next week I'll be back to full strength and back to what passes for normal with me, which is which is pretty abnormal. Um, it's a very humbling moment when you're faced with your own mortality, and I got I got to look that particular demon in the eye over the weekend, and I'm grateful that I'm here, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you guys. Um, let's see if I missed any questions. So a comment from Miss Lene says, "Hey there, big boss man. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your wonderful family. Jim and I are continuing to keep you and Annette in our prayers and our heart. Thank you so much." Eastwind Farm says, "Did he say anything about Sasquatch?" I don't think Sasquatch had anything to do with this one, but one never knows. Um, but folks, I can't thank you guys enough for all the prayers and all the well wishes and so many people reaching out to me and to Annette. It wasn't just to me. She got a lot of texts and a lot of messages sent to her on Facebook and things like that. And but we're truly blessed. We are blessed to know each and every one of you, and we're blessed to have so many people that were concerned about some guy they only see on a on the show and read his books. And I you guys mean the world to me. Um, I wish I could we could thank every one of you personally and give you a big hug for all the hearts and all the thoughts and prayers and everything. Um, but I wanted to do something personal. It's one thing to just post on Facebook. Thank you everybody for all that. I wanted to actually come on here and say it and have you guys hear me say it. uh, just how grateful I am that you all were with me through this, because this was a rough one. Um, Hopefully they've got it figured out and back in back in action and go on the distance. So that's the plan. We're going to continue with the meds, see if the cardiologist can figure out the next plan of attack, and we'll just keep moving forward. Uh, so folks, it's I know I didn't plan on on here very long. I've only been on about 25 minutes, but I don't want to take too much of your time. It's Turkey Day. Anybody should be with their families and their loved ones. So, folks, thank you guys so much for everything. Thank you guys for popping in, spending a few minutes with me here on Turkey Day, and thank you guys for everything. And hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving, Halloween. Now I'm losing my mind. Hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope that you get all the blessings in the world. And again, I am so thankful for each and every one of you. And I'm thankful to be part of this family at the DAX Machina Nation. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have an amazing day. And don't forget to say a prayer for all the men and women in uniform, the first responders who are away from their families today, who couldn't be home for Thanksgiving. So when you say your prayers today, keep a special thought for all the men and women in uniform. However they're serving, and they're away from their families, so we can be safe and enjoy ours. So bless each and every one of them, and God bless each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. And that's pretty much all I had. All I wanted to come on and say. I probably rambled a bit more than I probably should have, but yeah, well, I'm here to ramble, so I'm excited about that too. So I'll let you guys go, and I am really thrilled at the direction that we're going now. We're coming back stronger. We're coming back better, and we're doing it together, which is the way is intended to be. And so you guys have an awesome day. Have great Turkey Day. Hope it's full a great day full of food, faith, and fellowship as it's intended to be. And don't forget to be thankful for everything. Count those blessings, because you never know when those could be in danger of going away. And I know just how quick that can change. How you can go from fat, dumb, and happy and thinking everything's okay to, you know, a pretty severe diagnosis in the emergency room. So don't take anything for granted. Hug the folks you care about, let them know you were thinking about them, and say an extra prayer for the men and women in uniform. So thank you guys. And yeah, definitely. Pagan Truckers is in a little prayer for our trucking community as well. Absolutely. Those folks are out driving the highways even today, making sure we've got the things we need and keeping this country going. So definitely keep them in your heart, in your thoughts and prayers as well. So hope you guys have the best of Thanksgivings. And we should be back with you guys on Saturday. I mean, um, I will keep you posted. But I'm feeling pretty good, and I think we probably will be back on Saturday. So hope you guys have an awesome Turkey Day. And again, thank you guys for hanging out, and thank you guys so much for all the prayers and the well wishes and for everything. So we'll holler at you guys later, and happy Thanksgiving, folks.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on Ex Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.